lot of people that come in and they say, hey, I want to be your manager or I want you to sign to my label, and they don't know nothing about the business.
Right.
And so now we're doing things because my mama whooped me with a belt, so I'm gonna whoop you with a belt. Not knowing that's abuse.
One of the biggest obstacles artists face in the music game is access. Getting access to the people that can make it happen, or access to the information and resources you need to get to the next level. That's the key. That's why you need two of the biggest in the game on your side. Introducing J.R. McKee, Boomman. Welcome to the real industrial plug. You heard me?
So, Leron, this is a question. What does an attorney... Wait, what does an attorney have to do when an artist signs a record deal? You know what I mean? So I'm a new artist. I'm about to sign to Atlantic. You know, what does that look like for you? Like, how do I work with you in that space?
So if a major label, so let's say you hadn't signed to an independent record label and you get approached by a major record label. Mm-hmm. The major record label will send an agreement to the artist. Well, most of them will say, get a lawyer, right? Not all of them, but most of them will say, get a lawyer. And then they'll send me the 60-page contract, and we will negotiate that on your behalf.
Yeah.
And typically we're able to get the record label to pay your attorney fees.
Well, let me ask you a question, because you just said they'll say get a lawyer. A lot of times I've seen record labels recommend a lawyer. Should an artist go with a recommended lawyer that the label recommended?
That's like the court recommending you.
Obviously, I'm being on both sides of that, right?
Yeah.
Because out of respect, because although I do business with the record labels,
right,
we still argue.
Right.
I was on an argument with a good friend of mine who's a lawyer on the other side last week, yelling.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you giving me this? This makes no sense, right?
Right.
And so, although I do business with them a lot and they understand that we can get deals done,
right,
that doesn't mean I'm going to not do a good job for
sure.
you, right? So,
but that's you. That's you, Leron.
No, but that's their job, though.
but the flip side is there are some relationships between lawyers and major label executives where there's kickbacks. There's say send them over there because you just do the whoop whoop. I'm a wink nod and I'm a
you
sign
got
you
to be
over
a
there.
power player right now.
Yeah. You know, I'm just keeping it real. There's some lawyers that have made a lot of money because they just get they keep sending them to them, right?
Right.
Wow.
So you got to be very careful who you hire.
No, but do you hear what he's saying? This is so
talk
deep.
to other people. That's why you got to get other people. You can't, I tell people that come and talk to me, talk to 2 or 3 other lawyers too, because I know who you're gonna hire, and I'm totally comfortable with that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm interviewing them just like they interviewing me. I'm busy.
Right.
I got to make sure you're gonna be a good client.
Right.
So what are some of the questions that the artist should be asking you in the midst of their deal? Like, okay, I hired Leron, thank God. What are some of the questions I should be asking? Like,
what does all this mean?
I've never done this before.
Yeah. What does this mean? I want them to read through this contract, and if they don't, at least explain to me what the major provisions are. Give me a summary of what my obligations are to this record label and what in exchange they will give me. Yeah. Right? Just that's just basic business terms.
I want to ask you, and I want to revert back to the original question that I had asked earlier. How hard is it? Because like I said, I've always felt like they put this on the labels when I feel like they should be putting this on the attorneys, right?
Putting what?
How hard is it to get a revision back for your masters? How hard is it to get a revision back for your publishing? How hard is it to put that into a contract? Sure. Is that something that's super hard to get done, or is that something that a lawyer could just really do and it shouldn't be a problem?
So, okay, in a run-of-the-mill record label deal for an artist who's just getting started, doesn't have a ton of leverage, or even if they have some songs, popping, they hit on TikTok, YouTube, it's not likely they're going to get a reversion of their masters. That's not likely. Hold on. But on their publishing deal, which much more likely we'll be able to get a reversion after a certain period of time, more so than it is on the master side. But on the master side, if you have success, the record business is the only business, not the only one, but a rare business where if you are successful, you just go back in and renegotiate your deal.
Right.
You know, if we bust it, I tell some clients
exactly what I said. Success.
You may not have the leverage now. I've had clients that haven't had the leverage. We had to sign for a moderate amount of money up front. And I tell them, go out and sell records, create fans, get eyeballs, create excitement.
And gain some leverage.
Because before we go in and do that second album, we're going to get a little bit more rights back. So then that third album, we're going to get a little bit more rights back. So let me ask you a question.
How hard would it be to change that in the culture of what we're doing, where even if it's like, okay, cool, once the money is recouped and it's a certain amount of money made, you know what I'm saying? I could revert it back to you, or I could revert it back to you in 20 years, or you know what I'm saying? Sure. Why we can't just find a way to put the artist's mind at ease, that where they looking like, hey, look, this is my intellectual property. I know I'm transferring it over for sale, but one day I get to get it back, and I can make money off of it from my family and my kids, because that's one thing that's, once it's distributed, it's going to always go up. It'll never go down. So why we can't figure out a way to say, hey, this is standard, like how we did with publishing, like how we did. No, I understand, but we can make it standard. Sure. Like they did in publishing. They got away from doing them long publishing deals. Like they're not doing that no more. Publishing deals
requirements and everything. Now it's a term deal.
Right. Yeah. It's because they felt like it was unethical.
Right.
No, because not really.
Okay, so
it had nothing to do with ethics. It really had more so to do with competition, because you had evergreen copyrights that came in, Cobalt came in, all these independent publishers came in and started doing these admin deals.
I'm so glad
put the major publishers losing business.
Because they wouldn't do those type of deals.
I wouldn't do those deals with major publishers. Right. And they would come sit in my office. Every time they come in Atlanta, they come sit in my office. Oh, let's have some talk.
So we got to start the trend.
I'm so glad you said that, because that's what's happening with independent labels.
You got to do it.
Right.
That's what's happening with independent labels. Like, I had an artist that I really loved. I can't think his name. Start with an M. He ended up signing with Capitol.
Right.
But because I was in competition with them, they had to let him keep his masters. Ooh. If it wasn't for me being in competition with them, they was gonna take his masters.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to educate, put forth change, to let people know, because my thing has never been about not owning your masters. It's like, okay, I understand the business. Yeah. Hey, I spent $1 million. I'm not finna let you control this. Excuse my French. 100%. I'm not gonna let you control this, and I got $1 million on the line. I'm gonna use this and do what I need to do to make the money back and make a profit. Yeah. But once I've done that, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna make some money off of it for 5 to 7 years or whatever, or an album or whatever time frame, whatever puts you want to put in there. And guess what? I'll bless you back with it on whatever. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand this is your intellectual and creative property, and I know you don't understand. You don't have the leverage now, but you know this is something. And if it ain't making no money, I don't need it no way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
If you do that, you know what's gonna happen? Artists are gonna flock to you.
Right.
Yeah. They're gonna. Why wouldn't they?
Right.
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 If you're treating them fairly, you're doing square business, and your deals just like
I think my business is a little too fair, because shoot, artists want to get from up underneath me. My business model is I don't want to work with nobody that don't want to work with me.
Facts.
Goodbye. You can have it, because I don't work for money. You feel me? I work for my purpose. I work for my passion. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So all right. So going back to the question and saying, like, you know, what do the lawyers do with the deal? And then I wanted to make a point from what you were saying, Leron, because I remember a time where I would just ask what the terms are. I would say, hey, Leron, what are the terms? You know, but now
you read the entire
contract.
Now
I read the contract. You know what I mean? Now I read the contract, and I call around. I say, okay, what's this? What's this? You know what I mean? So I would.
But you've been in the game for 15 years, bro.
I know, but now I want them to start where I'm at now.
Right.
I want you to start, from day one. Right. You read the contract. You ask the questions. Right. Versus this. Hey, what are the terms? Tell me what I need to know. Facts. No, I would read the whole thing. You know what I mean? And it's difficult. Why are the contracts so obviously on purpose? It's obviously on purpose.
I think they 100%. Still living off of old ways, and that's just my opinion.
No. I want to hear from Leron. Why are they so difficult, Leron?
Well, they started out simple, and then something bad happened. Then they say, oh, we got to write this in there to protect us. And then something else bad. And then they put, oh, we got to put this. Then they're like, oh, we want these additional rights over here, this 360 stuff that we had never been talking about until 2008. We're going through a little dip, so we're going to grab all these other rights.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that added another 10 pages.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
And that's, you know, that's why we
it's done for a reason. Everybody's trying to protect everybody. You feel me? Everybody's trying to protect themselves. So, and the thing about a good business person, well, in my opinion, I'm going to say it because it's my perspective, if both, it's a win when both sides wins. You feel me?
100%.
When it's a good deal for both sides, that's when it's a real win. Not when it's lopsided, because that's a lot of times when people get disgruntled, because in the beginning, a lot of artists don't know. Like you said, you just not reading.
Right.
You just not reading contracts, and you a business person. You feel where I'm coming from? You would just lean on your lawyer. Me, I stopped doing that a long time ago.
You start reading?
Man, I know my business and what I want in my business, and I might ask you a question about, hey, I don't understand this. Can you explain this to me? And then I say, no, I don't want that. Or I do want that, because I understand the business that I'm in. And you know, a lot of times we have a lot of managers and people playing the position. No point intended. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you have to learn through it. But it's a lot of people that come in and they say, hey, I want to be your manager, or I want you to sign to my label, and they don't know nothing about the business.
Right.
And so now we're doing things because my mama whooped me with a belt, so I'm gonna whoop you with a belt. Not knowing that's abuse. You know where I'm coming from? So,
I get you.
You know, I think it's about educating, and I'm so glad we had you on here to help us, you know, let people know, because a lot of people watch this and a lot of people listen to what we saying. I just had, you know, Wallow, he was like, I watch what you, there's so many people that watches us, bro, that I didn't realize watch what we do. And it's so informative and it's so educational. And that's why I want to get to the root of it, because I want them to understand what it takes and what you should do and what you shouldn't do.
Yeah, and something you can't shit on the major labels. They have a business model.
Right.
They're putting capital at risk.
Right.
You know, artists don't realize that. I don't care if you sign for a peanut butter sandwich, you know, $50,000, $100,000. There's going to be another $750,000 on the backside that's spent trying to help you pop.
Exactly.
Right? So that's risk. That's real risk. Now, these are big companies, and they sign 100 artists, and they know that, you know, 20 are going to pop.
Right.
You know, 50 are going to be average, and 20 are going to go dud. And they factor that into the business model. Right. But, you know, you got to respect the business. And the best deals are done when you understand what do they need to get a win.
Exactly.
And so then you can maneuver, and sometimes you can get more leverage that way.
Exactly.